Krishna Govinda Hari Murari He Natana. Wow. Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Shamani Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Dasatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, we're going to have some interesting discussions. Okay. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something really interesting. He said, when you come to the stage of bhava, translator? You can translate?
You can. No. I have to translate in Lithuania from Lithuanian Russia. I can translate in German.
You can translate? You want to try?
Not this very nice topic. Too difficult.
Okay. She's probably coming late. No?
She wrote me an email that she's very busy, but she didn't say that she's not coming because I wanted her to translate advertise and she said she can't do it right now.
Oh, okay.
She's not. No, she didn't say that, but she said she's busy, so I'm speculating that she's not coming.
So, when you come to bhava, you're completely out of the bodily concept. When you first enter the stage of bhava, aham brahmasmi. You understand you're not the body, but you don't know your relationship with Krishna yet. It's not clear who you are. So you know what you're not, but you don't know who you are. So it's kind of a strange position. You understand?
Very little.
I know what I am not, but I don't know what I am. Am I a cowherd boy, cowherd girl, servant? I don't know. But I know I'm not the body. So I have no identity. I've lost my bodily identity, and I don't have my spiritual identity. I have no identity. You understand? So, sometimes a devotee, when they come to this position where they don't have their spiritual identity yet, and they don't have any bodily concept, they become impersonalists. Or they have the tendency to become impersonalists, because there's no identity. So it's therefore said that when the devotee gets out of the bodily concept, Krishna then needs to reveal to him or her who they are in Krishna Lila so they don't become impersonal. So when you come to bhava, you come out of the bodily concept, and then Krishna reveals who you are in Lila. Otherwise you could become an impersonalist, because you lose one identity, you don't have another identity. You think you're nothing. And You know, there's a lot of bliss being in nothing. You know, because being something can be pretty miserable. So being nothing is better than being something when the something is not good, right? So like, if you emerge in Brahman, you feel relief. So you feel good because you don't feel bad. You feel blissful in Brahman, and then you may want to stay there. So then Krishna reveals your position. You are this in Krishna Lila, so that you know who you are. Otherwise, you may become an impersonalist. Is that interesting? Did you know that?
But usually, yes, but we have the identity as servant that also lost.
Yeah, because now because you don't know what kind of servant you are. And then the tendency to be impersonal could creep in. Because you've kind of lost your identity. Okay. So we were discussing in the last class that when you achieve the stage of bhava, it's the first time you're completely out of the modes of nature. You're free from Maya. No Maya. Bhava means no Maya. Maya, nyat. Bhava, Maya, nyat. First, the beginning, there's no Maya. And then there's the appearance of Shuddha Sattva. Maya, nyat. Shuddha Sattva, da.
Guru Maharaj, no problem.
No problem.
No problem.
I only know.
Hot.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, but it's compared to a ray of the sun, one little sun ray of love of Krishna. It's the beginning. It's not the complete, full Shuddha Sattva, but Tora Shuddha Sattva, compared to a ray. So Bhava is a ray of sun, of love of God. It's the beginning. So even though it's Shuddha Sattva, it's just a little bit. There's no Maya, but it's just a ray of that energy. So it's beginning, and then love is a full manifestation. And as we had spoken before, that, I don't know why I'm wearing these, I don't even need them. We had spoken before that when you begin devotional service, you have a little bit of bhava. And as each stage you grow in, you have a little more bhava. So even in the very beginning, you have a little bhava. Tora bhava. Alpo bhava. And so every stage that you advance to is a little more bhava. So love of Krishna is the development of bhava. So right in the beginning you have a little bit. Kubala. Kub, you have elbow bhav. Alpo bhav. Right? Little bhav. Little more. Love of God is like the sun. Bhava is like the ray of the sun. It's one ray of the whole sun. But it's out of the modes of nature. So it's the beginning. It's not the full manifestation. Just like In the stage of bhava, a devotee manifests 8 ecstatic symptoms. But when the devotee comes to prema, he manifests those 8, but they're more intense. And then he adds more to them. Ashta sattvika bhav. Like choking of the voice, hair standing on end, fainting, perspiration. But when you come to prema, it's more intense. So everything intensifies. Just like you probably felt sometimes some little ecstasy, right? Something you might call ecstasy, but it's not even a ray of a ray of a ray. It's just like a seed. But as you advance, it's greater. So it's fully manifest in prema. It's slightly manifest all the way. But in bhava, it shows up. It's constant. Like you may have an ecstatic kirtan and then go home and not have an ecstatic evening. It's possible. In bhava, it remains. It's constant. So it's a stage. Once you get to that stage, it's constant. And before, it's developing. Right? So every stage, you have a little more bhava. But it's not permanent until you come to the stage of bhava. Because now, you're out of the modes of nature. There's no maya. So there's no modes of nature. What are you going to experience? No greed, no lust, no anger, no envy, none of that. So you're going to experience all your emotions transcendentally. Right? Correct. If there's no maya, what's left? Nothing's blocking, it's just Krishna. Yeah, so what's happening is, we've spoken about this a little bit, that the heart is sometimes compared to steel, or sometimes it's compared to stone. So what does that mean? That means the heart comes in touch with Krishna because it's like stone, there's no emotion. No emotion. Right? So sometimes we see the deity, there's some emotion, but there's no fainting, there's no hair standing on end, there's nothing really pronounced. Maybe a little something. So the analogy is because the heart's like stone. A man sees one woman, he doesn't feel anything for her. He's not even nice to her. He's hard-hearted towards her. He sees another woman, he's very nice to her, he's very attracted, and his heart melts. So something like that. The attraction affects us. So it's said when you get to the stage of bhava, then your heart becomes soft, and then in connection with Krishna, your heart melts. So when you chant, the melting, or any contact with Krishna, the melting is described as the symptoms of ecstasy. That's the melting. Maybe your heart melts now when you see a pizza. Or you hear your favorite song. Baby, I love you. And you hear that song. Oh, it's my favorite song. Then your heart melts. And so our heart is melting on material things. Yes? So, as you become Krishna conscious, all the symptoms that manifest in bhava, they're seen to some degree, smaller. It's not that your heart doesn't melt, but it doesn't melt to that degree. It's not that when you hear a good class you don't feel something, or a good kirtan you don't feel something. Or maybe you feel it very intensely, but it doesn't remain that intense.
In Bhava it increases and it remains.
Yeah, because there's no Maya, so there's nothing to cover it. Why wouldn't it? Once you're there, there's nothing to cover it. Right? So why wouldn't it remain? When it doesn't remain, what's happening? We're getting covered by Maya. One day good, one day bad, one day good, one day bad. Right? Just sit out of the sun. You know what also happens? When you have a realization, and then a week later you can't remember the realization. Why? Because Maya covers, right? So in Bhava, there's no covering of Maya. So there's only realization, there's only knowledge. Just like when you're in a good state of Krishna consciousness, you get a lot of realization. That means you're more in touch with this transcendental position. But when you forget the realization, it means the modes of nature have covered. And you can't even remember what you were realizing. Isn't that interesting? Or you remember it, but you don't feel it anymore. You can't really talk about it because you're not experiencing it. You experienced it last week, and this week is a bad week. Right? And in stage of Bhava, there are no bad weeks. Because there's no Maya. Wouldn't that be nice? So we can take this class like an advertisement to come to the stage of Bhava. This is what happened. Fly to Kerala, white beaches, aqua blue waters, palm trees, coconuts, perfect weather. Now you're getting excited, you want to go. It's the winter here in Mayapur. Let's go to Kerala and get a nice beach house, take long walks on the beach. So this is like that. This is what happens in Bhava. Like Prabhupada says, you become Krishna conscious, all your problems will be solved, because you won't be dealing with Maya. And you won't be identified with the body anymore, because you're identified with who you are transcendentally. Right? Because you know who you are. So why would you identify with the body? You know who you are. In Krishna Lila, I am this person. I am so-and-so.
But before you said it's not manifested in Bhava.
Not in the very beginning. When you first enter, you don't know. But then it manifests. When you're first coming into it, you're just it's not clear, and then it's revealed. And it's said that Krishna makes sure he reveals it so you don't become an impersonalist, because you lose your material identity.
It makes no sense. You go such a long way up to
And then
Bhava
become
and
impersonalist, yeah.
personally.
Well, I don't think that anything really makes sense outside of Krishna consciousness. And the fact that it doesn't make sense is scary, because we'll do things that don't make sense just because of how we feel. Yeah. So what's happening is that when you experience ecstasy, you're coming in touch with Krishna and your heart's melting because you're so attracted. And the only way, or one way we can understand this, is it happens materially. It's something you're attracted to, you come in touch with it, it affects your heart. I wouldn't say you become ecstatic, but something happens. Something is going on inside. And so, when you're in the stage of Bhava, that you melt in contact with Krishna, then these ecstatic symptoms begin to state. They're just manifestations of love. Very intense love. Yes.
Much was saying, I'm artistic person and musician artist, and I'm kind of attached to spend time nature, near the sea, walking, spending time because it's encouraging, loving me. Is it a bad thing if I'm, let's say, the decision to leave the holy Dhamma,
Well, leave the Holy Dhamma and go to Kerala?
No, the place where she lives. Oh, well.
Go back to Russia?
She lives in Russia, but it's actually not like a touristic spot, like nice beaches. It's more near Japan. It's just the all open
Country,
nature.
yeah.
Not many people. She just likes to spend time
Yeah.
and meditate deeply.
Well, I'll tell you a story. Well, see, the thing is, if it inspires you to serve Krishna, it's good. If it inspires you to forget Krishna, it's not good. And when we like things, it can inspire us to forget Krishna because we like it so much. Is that confirmed? So the story is, maybe you've heard the story, there was a beautiful sunset and the devotee said, Prabhupada, look at that beautiful sunset. And so Prabhupada understood when he was saying, look at that beautiful sunset, it was something that he was enjoying seeing. He wasn't seeing that's Krishna. He was just enjoying the sunset. So I could say, look at that beautiful sunset, that's Krishna's eye. And that reminds us of Krishna. Or I could say, look at that beautiful sunset, because I like looking at beautiful things, and that beautiful sunset makes me feel good. So I've no connection with Krishna, it's just, it makes me feel good. That's material life. We like to look at things, or listen to things, or see things, or taste things, or touch things that make us feel good. Now, you see a flower and it's beautiful, and you think, that would be a nice flower for my Ditas. Or you think, just see the artistry of Krishna, he's made this flower beautiful. Krishna is an artist, he made the flower. So that flower is making you think of Krishna. Or you walk by and you can smell the fragrance, and you think, I wonder how, if this flower smells so good, I wonder how Krishna's body smells. It must be amazing. Because some flowers are so fragrant, they're a bit intoxicating, right? In your country, you must have so many fragrant flowers. And you walk by, you're 3 feet away, you smell them, and it's like, it almost makes you intoxicated. It's like perfume, right? And if you think, oh, Krishna's the fragrance of the earth, or imagine what Krishna smells like. Otherwise, that smells good. Come over here, smell this. Doesn't it smell good? Yeah, it smells good. Come over here, smell this. Smell good? So that's just, we're enjoying the smell. So that's the difference. So if you like these scenes because it can inspire you in Krishna consciousness for your singing or writing or drama, and you feel that's a good environment for you, yeah. As long as it's helping you. But if you think, I just like this, then it's about you. It's not about Krishna.
Меня только передохнуть, чтобы проповедовать дальше. She just get a bit more energy and she wants to continue activity.
Yeah, that's fine. We all have different nature. Some people, if you take them into the country, it puts them in anxiety because they're from the city. And it's too quiet for them. It's true. You know that? It's true. They're not used to it. It's too quiet. It's too boring. They get out there and the first thing they think is, what do you do here? There's no movies, there's no restaurants. What do you do here?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I want to know when it's real. We know this flower is smelling good. I want to offer it to Krishna, and then, but I enjoy the smell afterwards also.
Oh,
So
yeah.
is
Oh,
it
yeah.
okay?
Okay. All right. Yeah. This is a good question, and this is something that it's not easy to understand, because as conditioned souls, we're very connected with our senses. So if our senses are gratified, it makes us happy. And prasadam is very gratifying, or flowers that are offered to Krishna are very fragrant. Then how do you smell them, or how do you eat the prasadam? In the mood that Krishna is the enjoyer, because I'm enjoying eating it, right? Well, have you ever eaten prasadam that wasn't cooked well, and you thought, this is not good that Krishna's had to eat this? Have you ever thought like that? Yeah. So it's that same thinking. When it's good, and you taste it, and you think, this tastes good, that means Krishna enjoyed it, so I'm happy. You understand? It's the opposite. So when you're tasting nice prasadam, if you think, this is nice, Krishna enjoyed it. And when, I'll tell you a story, it's kind of interesting. We had a festival at one of our temples. The temple president had written to Prabhupada, and he described what went on in the at the festival. Then Prabhupada wrote back and he said, I hope you enjoyed the festival. He used the word enjoyed. So it's the same idea. We were on a morning walk today, and I was telling the devotees that at least when I'm in Mayapur or in Vrindavan, I feel like this is the highest sense gratification you can get anywhere in the world. And then someone might say, well, look at you live in a small apartment, you eat simply, you get up early, there's no sense gratification. But I meant from the transcendental perspective, everything here is sense gratification. Right? That our senses are being gratified. You get to see the deities, the devotees, take nice prasadam. So there is this concept of enjoying, but you're not the enjoyer. Try to figure that one out. You enjoy, but you're not the enjoyer. Like, for example, sometimes Prabhupada would say something which we thought was funny, but he didn't intend it to be funny, and he said, don't laugh, it's not funny. But if Prabhupada would say something and he'd laugh, then we could laugh, because it was funny, and he's establishing the mood. So now Prabhupada said something funny, and we're enjoying it as disciples. But if it wasn't meant to be funny, and we're trying to enjoy it, it's not proper. Now the cow is telling us something. If you like to take care of cows, that's good. And if you enjoy taking care of cows, that's good. But the enjoyment you get from taking care of cows is that you like to serve. So you like to serve, you enjoy. So the cow you're enjoying is a byproduct of serving. So that's our position. I don't want to enjoy if Krishna doesn't enjoy. So if this food is not offered, I don't enjoy it. Right? And Krishna has eaten it, and he's giving it to me. But I don't eat it in the mood that I am the enjoyer. Because if I do, then I'm not really taking prasadam. Just like, I'll give you an example. There's a devotee, and sometimes he gets frustrated when he chants japa because he's not experiencing the taste. So he writes me and he says, if I chant 16 rounds in like 4 or 5 hours, I can relish it. But if I try to chant in 2 hours, it puts me in anxiety. But I don't have 4 or 5 hours, so what should I do? I mean, I could chant 8 rounds in 2 hours. If I chant 16 rounds, I'll get frustrated. Put me in anxiety. So I was explaining to him, and then he said, if I chant slowly, I feel peaceful. I feel good. If I chant fast, it puts me in anxiety. So after many exchanges with him, I realized it's all about him and how he feels. It's not about how Krishna feels and what's right. It's about how I feel. Well, I don't feel good. And the problem with that is if you don't feel good, maybe you'll stop chanting. Right? You just stop. I don't feel good when I chant, so it's about feeling good. So that's a problem. So we can enjoy as long as we're not in the center. It's not around us. We all enjoy, at some point we all enjoyed japa, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And we're feeling blissful. Not because we're trying to enjoy it, but we're trying to serve Krishna. You try to enjoy japa, it doesn't work. Because Krishna is the enjoyer. It's like I buy a gift and I give it to you. And after I give it to you, I say, can I use it? Can I borrow it? Or, occasionally I bought my wife a gift because it was something for the kitchen. Like a juicer or something, because I want juice. Here's a juicer for the kitchen. Can you make some juice? Or your wife buys you a tool set. Here, I bought this tool set for your birthday. Can you fix this? Can you fix that? Right? So it's, you're giving the gift, but you're the object of enjoyment of the gift. So, as long as you take prasadam in the mood that I'm the servant, and I'm enjoying as a byproduct of serving, then it's fine. A lot of devotees get thrown off by the concept of taste, because you'll find that great devotees, they pray for taste. Well, Krishna, give me a taste. And you're thinking, well, that's wrong. But if they're a great devotee, what kind of taste are they praying for? Their taste is, can I purely serve? I want the taste of purity. Right? Now I might think, Krishna, give me a taste so I can enjoy you. But they don't think that way. Give me a taste so I can not enjoy you, so I can serve you. Right? You understand? Give me a taste so I can serve, not so I can enjoy. But our conditioned thinking is, give me a taste because I think I'm the enjoyer. Right? Like sometimes we use the example. We say, Krishna is the center. It means everything in the universe is meant to give to him. That's the center. Everything goes to the center. Or we can say, we're in the center. Everything goes to me. If I'm in the center, everything goes to me. So it's just the mood you're in when you're smelling the flower, when you're taking the prasadam. And then tasting, that taste is Krishna. That fragrance is Krishna. Isn't it? Yes? I mean, what if you met Krishna? He smells really good, doesn't he? I don't know exactly what he smells like because I haven't smelled him, at least not in a while. But he smells really good. But that fragrance from his body is not going to excite you to pursue sense gratification. It's going to purify it. Yes? Da? Da or da? Da. Da, da. Yeah. Is that all right? You see, the problem in understanding that is we're caught up in being enjoyers for so many lives. It's really hard to figure out how we can do something enjoyable and not be enjoyers, isn't it?
For example, when I'm cooking, I cook what I like to eat or what I can eat. But if I think about, I'm going to ask Krishna, I'm going to cook for you now.
Right.
So, but this is like really a razor's edge.
But that's home worship, and so home worship is different. Because you can't do that so much when you're cooking for the deities. I think, we offer prasadam that we cook for devotees to the deities, but we offer other things. And those are the things they like. So home worship is like that. Krishna has to eat what you like. Now, if you want to make him some things he likes, that's nice also. And you can distribute it if you can't eat it. So, both things are there.
I mean, just home worship and temple worship is really completely two different pairs of shoes.
Well, to some degree, yeah. At least in that, home worship, you have choices in what you offer. In temple worship, the choices are restricted to certain things at certain times. So at least when you do it that way, you should do it. Say, okay, Krishna, I need to eat this, but I'm offering it to you, and you better accept it.
Yeah, well, my sister wants to clarify, the amount of enjoyment when you're cooking prasada, because then they're trying to kind of see how good was the dish prepared and everything, and what was done good. Otherwise, if I didn't enjoy, let's say I'm thinking about my service or something, okay, I quickly took prasadam and I'm running to do my service. So sort of, I didn't kind of like even appreciate the prasadam.
Yeah.
So the amount of this enjoyment while you're taking prasadam.
Well, I think we have to go back to that statement where Prabhupada said, did you enjoy the festival? Now, if I enjoyed the festival, what did I enjoy? I enjoyed kirtan, I enjoyed the deities, I enjoyed the drama about Krishna, I enjoyed the prasadam. Yes? So we're supposed to enjoy things in relation to Krishna. And by enjoying things in relation to Krishna, it purifies us from the desire to enjoy sense gratification. So, and if you're sensitive to prasadam, then not only are you enjoying the taste, but you're feeling the bhakti in the prasadam. Right? Yes? So if you're sensitive to that, then it's like the deities are dressed beautifully, and you might enjoy seeing that, but you're also feeling the devotion that went into making the dress to dressing them. Right? So if something really tastes good, then often we think whoever cooked had a lot of devotion to make it taste this good. And so we're tasting of devotion. And devotion tastes good. And Krishna likes the taste of devotion. So it's, like I say, it's difficult because we're so used to just enjoying our senses. So the idea of enjoying our senses and not enjoying our senses while we're enjoying our senses is not so easy to understand. It's just the point is that the enjoyment is not coming from something material. Prasadam is not material. However, you can make prasadam material if you only eat for sense gratification. So if you just eat like it's ordinary food, just for sense gratification, then that prasadam becomes ordinary. And then it becomes sense gratification. Like kirtan, one second, kirtan can be sense gratification. Especially if you're leading, then you can get some pratishta, some honor, and then your kirtan becomes sense gratification if that's your motive. So it depends on your consciousness. What position are you putting yourself in? Enjoyer or I'm serving prasadam, prasad seva. I'm serving by eating.
But I think prasadam can really become ordinary. You said when you enjoy it.
Yeah.
prasadam,
So
then
that's why.
ordinary.
So that's why we say. That's why we say we're serving prasadam. Not you're serving it. You're eating it, but that's your service is to eat it. Krishna wants you to eat it, right? It does Krishna. You're taking prasadam. Krishna gives it to you, and he wants you to eat prasadam. So that's a service, and you're not eating something that's not offered. So then it becomes a service. Because we only do service. So our eating is our service. What about sleeping? You lay down at night. Like this, what I personally think, Hare Krishna. What I think, for example, when I go to sleep has some enjoyment. But when I go to sleep, I just think it's just maintenance, it's bodily maintenance. So however many hours I need for maintenance, that's what I get. So I don't see it as enjoyment. It may be enjoyable when you're tired, but I don't see it as enjoyment. I just see it as service. Isn't it? Isn't sleeping service? You're tired, you're trying to do your service, you can't concentrate because you're too tired. So what do? You lay down, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half hour, you get up, you're refreshed, and now you can do your service. So you just see sleeping as service. Right? I mean, we should. So, prasad seva, sleeping seva, mating seva, defending seva, when it's necessary in Krishna's service. So when you take prasadam, think you're doing service. You'll be okay. Yes?
I just had a note actually, and it's easy to recognize sometimes, like you're somewhere, like you will come to a restaurant, devotional restaurant. But again, whoever was cooking this day and how it was offered, and then you take prasadam, especially in Australia we have a lot of restaurants, and well, I have experience myself, it's my experience. You take prasadam, probably also, most probably not in the proper consciousness, because our restaurants, they're in the beautiful locations, somewhere, beautiful touristic places. And then after leaving this devotional restaurant, you sort of, thinking, what else I can enjoy, like, in a passion comes, maybe I should go,
Yeah, yeah,
to the beach or something, that's, you see, so that was the prasadam. We didn't have
yeah.
prasadam.
Well,
It's like,
it's Prabhupada talks about it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He uses the word sense gratification. He uses the word sense gratification in the name of Mahaprasadam. You understand? In the name of Maha, I'm overeating. In the name of honoring Mahaprasadam, I'm overeating. So he said, then it becomes sense gratification. See, look, what is our philosophy? Our philosophy is that anything can be sense gratification and anything can be service. So what looks like service can become sense gratification, and what doesn't look like service can become service. Right? Depends on your attitude, your motive, why you're doing it. Yeah, that's the idea. So Mahaprasad becomes sense gratification.
But still, I'm not happy with that it can become ordinary. It can't become ordinary.
It can't be, but you can be. And so therefore your experience of it will be ordinary. It's just like you look at the deity is always Krishna. It doesn't mean you see Krishna in the deity. Right? The holy name is always transcendental. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, simply by reciting the syllables, it's not the name. So you could be chanting, but not chanting. And say, but I thought it's Krishna. Krishna and his name are the same. They are, but you're chanting. What are you chanting? Who knows what you're chanting? Krishna, Krishna, give me this, give me money. So you're not experiencing Krishna, even though you're saying Krishna. So that Krishna is Krishna, but not for you. So the Prabhupada said, a materialist turns everything into sense gratification, and a transcendentalist turns everything into seva. So we're seeing the same thing. You're seeing how to enjoy it. He's seeing how to use it for service. So it's a different experience and a different result. Right? I've been told that sometimes sannyasis are very... one sannyasi, they said, why did you get married? He said, because I wanted to get a good wife. So he was joking. You become a sannyasi and you become attractive to women. Renunciation. So why did you take sannyas? I wanted to get a good wife. So the sannyasi, he's attractive, he's sense-controlled, prestigious. And then so you become a sannyasi to renounce, and now women become attracted to you. So the Maharaj comes, and all the brahmacharis are inspired. Maharaj, so inspired by you. Can I serve you like this? And then some women become inspired and think, oh, I'd love to marry him. So it's the same person being seen differently. One serving and one thinking how I could enjoy. So it has nothing to do with the sannyasi, necessarily. He is who he is. But your vision is different. So the deity, the prasadam, the holy name, it's one way and we see it differently. Right? We have a question.
are you thinking kind of subtle way, yes? Like mothers they get infatuated.
I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I can't say. I've just heard. I've heard it said. Maybe the men. Maybe that was their perception. I don't know.
Was it said in connection? That's why you married to Jacob. We start in the beginning. Why you got married because you wanted to be a good wife.
No, no. They said, why did you take sannyas? He said, I took sannyas so I could get a good wife. Because the sannyasi is attractive to women. It's a joke. That's a joke. You can laugh. 1, 2, 3, laugh. Now, if you're Krishna conscious, you would never see anything in terms of sense gratification. Right? So when you take prasadam, it's service.
Well, how to stop your own mind from speculation because, okay, I want something sweet. I want something sweet in reality. Or let me offer something to Krishna.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I want something.
That's called, yeah. That's better than just eating it. Right? So, I have a body. The body likes sugar. And if I don't get sugar, I'm going to go up to someone and strangle them. So better I make a sweet ball, offer it to Krishna, eat it, and calm down. Now I can do my service. Right? So that's okay. At least you offered it to Krishna. You know, the whole idea is you have to exist according to your level of Krishna consciousness. So you shouldn't feel bad. You want to eat something, so the principle is you offer it to Krishna, then you eat it. In the temple, it doesn't work that way. In the temple, you offer certain things at certain times. You like them, you don't like them, you offer them. But at home, yeah, at least you offer it. You know, the thing is, we have bodies, and bodies have demands. And if we don't fulfill the demands in a Krishna conscious way, those demands will degrade us. Right? Yes? So,
Mama actually had another point also, like, okay, I have like two tracks in my mind. One track saying, oh, you have to take care of your body so you should not take sweets. It's not good for you. But then, well, the other side saying, well, but this is
take sugarcane juice. It's good for you. I shouldn't take sweets, it's not good for you, my mind says. And the other part of the mind says, if I don't take sweets, I'll go crazy. Yeah. So there's a balance in between. My mind says, eat 10 sweets. My intelligence says, don't eat any sweets. The balance is 3 sweets. That's not too much, and then I can do my service. Something like that. Because you have to deal with where you're at. And your main thing is to do service. So whether you eat 1 sweet, 2 sweets, 3 sweets, it's not a problem. If you eat 10 sweets, it is a problem. So, you have 1 sweet after each meal. Maybe 5 years from now, 1 sweet every other day. It has to, the main thing is, let's say my body needs sweets. It's like if I don't eat a sweet, I'm going to start screaming at people. I get angry. I get agitated. So then I think, I have to eat some sweets so I don't get agitated. Right? So I eat some sweets, then I'm okay. Do my service. So the main thing is I do my service. So sweets in relation to my service.
Ну вот вопрос именно в этом его, что я понимаю, разум говорит, но как бы там ум-то он такой вот этот хитрый момент, когда вот я буду там есть сладкое, там, например, мед, ну, Кришна, я не знаю, я не читаю, мед, Кришна любит мед или не любит мед. А вот на соприцательной сладости, там, вот эти предложения уже как бы есть мальчик.
Не видим много, ешьте чуть-чуть. Глазки. Таким образом, он довольно развит и продвигается, но немного. Надо снова вспомнить.
It's okay? 3 sweets is okay? Yes.
Я увидела здесь старшую матушку, я очень к ней отношусь с благоговением и с почтением, поэтому могу задать вопрос, то есть как улучшить ситуацию в Майпуре. Ко мне на прием, так как я юридический доктор, приходят на консультацию женщины, которые которые пренебрегают тем, что брамачари или идут на саньясу, они говорят, вчера брамачари, завтра станет моим мужем. Таким даже. И это очень часто. Что мы можем предпринять, какие действия, какая защита для вот этих наших...
Well, I am a Ayurvedic doctor, and different people, some other comes to me, and in the process of the treatment, they reveal their mind, and I can find sometimes that they have this sort of like quite egoistic attitude. Okay, is it here? Is here in my profile? Okay, I've chosen someone who's a brahmachari, but what do you mean? Brahmachari and sannyasi. Well, brahmachari or sannyasi doesn't matter. I've chosen this person.
I have to repeat this.
So they have this mentality. What's the question?
I've chosen someone I want to marry.
Yeah, and they just so no, but the question is
Brahmachari, sannyasi.
what we can do, because Mataji said she has a few times already meeting such
People who are determined.
Yeah, and she's sort of like thinking, how can
Они приходят, и
and they
женщины
come for
специально.
the lecture, to the lecture, and they would sit in front of, and their motivation is they
Yeah.
didn't come to listen to the class. They came with different agendas.
Yeah.
So Mataji is asking.
What can we do?
Можем ли мы вообще с ними общаться?
Oh, actually, Mataji is asking, can you actually even associate with them?
Много, больше.
So she's saying some devotees, their motive is to fulfill their personal needs, and not really for service.
Yeah, and I don't actually, in reality, probably don't care about.
They're not so attached to principles. Yeah. So how can we guide them? Or
Should we associate with
well,
them?
as far as association is concerned, the principle is to find the most advanced devotees and associate with them. Find devotees that help you. And yeah, and if association doesn't, yeah, advanced association is the most important thing.
But I think again, that's already my question. Do those ladies would like to come?
Система наставничества в Майпуре есть? Нет, я хочу знать, кто вообще наставники?
Mataji is asking, is there the system of the nastavnik, what is it? I'm just trying to find the proper word. That's when there is a senior devotees and junior devotees, when there is
Mentorship.
mentor, yes?
Yeah.
Is there
I don't know.
mentor amongst the
I don't know. But everybody needs somebody to guide them.
Маруся говорит, он не знает, но это действительно так, что каждого нужен гайд.
At least younger devotees.
Вообще гуляют просто сами по себе.
You see, the thing is, Krishna consciousness is based on the principle of unmotivated service. It's the whole principle that the movement's established on. So, everything has to evolve around that. And Prabhupada didn't want people coming to the movement to get some sense gratification from it. He definitely didn't want them, because that'll contaminate it. So people have to be educated.
Я оскорбилась, когда я общалась с такими людьми. Они ко мне по работе приходят. Just saying that she feels, just talking to them, she feels this quality,
Yeah.
influence, not good.
So devotees who are, you don't feel a good association for you, then you either try to help them or you keep a distance. I think the problem is, if someone may be a new devotee, they don't understand. Yeah, so the problem is when they're older devotees. Yeah. Then some weed has grown. It's hard for me to say because I don't know them, how they're feeling. But what sometimes happens is they're good devotees, but there's one thing that's unfulfilled and it's driving them crazy, so they may act irrationally. Otherwise they're good, but one thing. And generally that one thing is male-female association. Yes? So maybe if they had a good husband, they would be fine. And maybe it's like, have you ever been really hungry? Like really, really hungry? Starving hungry? And you go to Bhagavatam class? All you're going to be thinking about is prasadam. You can't hear. So if you're starving hungry for a relationship, that's all you can think about. And then once you satisfy it, then you're okay. Right? Or it could be anything. You have to go to sleep. You can't stay awake, and that's all you can think about. You ever been so tired that even though you're hungry, you didn't eat because you were too tired? So all you can think of is sleeping. But what, they're old devotees? Yeah, but that's not long. 10 years is not long. Because we've been in the material world for such a long time. 10 years is...
Tell them to forget about the new sannyasis.
Yeah, they will just get older eventually.
You can go after the no sannyasis, no problem. Problem solved.
Yeah, no, it's just it's an example. You can be very advanced, but if you have a strong material desire that's unfulfilled, you have to fulfill it, otherwise you're not balanced. A lot of times, the person who needs a relationship, right, has failed in previous relationships. They're not actually good in relationships, and that makes it even worse. Makes them need it more. And they try and it doesn't work, and then every time it doesn't work, they want it more. So it's just, we have bodies and we're dealing with bodies. Right? You have a body, your body has certain desires, it has certain nature. Certain things you need. Certain things you don't need. That if you had would bother you. So it's a lesson. We can learn from that. That if certain things aren't fulfilled, drive us crazy. Now I know a lot of devotees, they feel bad in trying to fulfill those. They think, well, something's wrong with me, I'm so bad. Nothing's wrong with you, you just have a body that has this nature, it has to be fulfilled. Like you like to act, you like to sing. If I said there's something wrong with you because you like to act and sing, you'd think I'm crazy. So what's wrong with acting and singing? I can do that for Krishna. And if you don't do it, you'll go crazy. Right? Isn't it? You have to do it, because that's your nature. So there's nothing wrong with it. So a lot of times devotees, in realizing their nature, they think there's something wrong with them because they have this nature. It just has to be engaged.
Mother, the point was, it's okay, especially for women, she has to be married. But this kind of cynical, attitude that they don't care if, the way
Yeah.
it's all about them.
Yeah, because they're hungry. And they should have been married 10 years ago. If you Yeah, it's you're hungry and you've waited too long to eat. Now you're like, eat anything. You know? So, that's a problem. But maybe some of those women didn't want to get married and they thought they'd be renounced, and now later on they realized they need it, and so the desire is very strong. And then it's hard to deal with. It would have been easier if they married younger and it wasn't so intense. Eat when you're hungry, not when you're starving, because when you're starving, you'll eat anything. If you were starving, had no money, you could go into the restaurant and just pull something off somebody's plate. You're so hungry. Could you imagine? I could imagine doing that. Like, you haven't eaten in 3 days, you have no money, and you go in a restaurant. You lose control. You just take a chapati and just eat it.
Okay, this is very nice.
Don't wait so long. I mean, a lot of devotees, when they join ISKCON, they don't want to be involved in material life because they're coming out of it. So they renounce, and they're happy. And a lot of them think, well, I'll do this all my life. And then they get older and they realize they can't. And then all of a sudden the desire hits them because they were happy without it, but now they're at an age that they need it, and it starts to hit them. And sometimes it hits really hard. You understand? And then it hits hard, and it's like a drug addict who needs a drug.
Well, then probably, yes, again, the system, they have to find senior good devotee, they can share, open the mind, and do it in a proper way, like through proper agency of, find partner, but not just go and, but again, you have to be in sattva guna a bit.
Well, it's also culture. There's a culture to follow. There's an etiquette. But if a woman's very aggressive towards a man, most men won't like that. Maybe the man who likes that is not the man they should marry. If if a woman goes after a man and kind of grabs him and gets him, that kind of indicates the way the relationship's going to be, like she's going to be controlling it. So a lot of men, when they see that, they back off. It's like, if I marry this woman, she's already controlling me and I don't even know her. You know what I mean? So it's not so attractive. Right? Men do not like to be controlled. But they don't mind being controlled by love, but they don't want to be controlled by aggression. Prabhupada said the woman's greatest weapon to control her husband is her sympathy and her chastity and her kindness. Then he'll do anything. You want your husband to do this, and you're pushing. It doesn't always work. But your gentleness, then it wins his affection, then he does it. When you love somebody, you'll do anything for them. When they force you to do it, you resist it. So that woman could be going after this brahmachari, and the brahmachari decides to marry that woman, because that woman had the right culture, the right consciousness. Okay, we have a question. Krishna Karshani is saying, why isn't Krishna showing himself so we can feel the love? Because as we were saying before, when our heart is hard, we can't appreciate it. And when the heart is soft, when Krishna shows it, then we appreciate it. Just like if a person comes to the temple who's not a devotee and they see the deity or they hear the kirtan, they might appreciate something, but not much. Not as much as an advanced devotee would. Right? advanced devotee will appreciate. Softer heart, senses purified. So the same Krishna is opening up more. Yes.
Well, I quite often also reverse when someone comes really first time, he comes with the humble attitude. He also doesn't know offenses or anything. Krishna very merciful. It's like Atiti for Krishna. New guest came to the temple. He's going to do anything. So this devotee actually feels unusual inspiration.
Sometimes.
Much more than someone who comes regularly.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is sometimes the newness and freshness is appreciated. And you're coming every day and it just becomes, you take it for granted. That can be there, but that appreciation may be more material than spiritual. Unless that person has a background in bhakti, then they're coming and it's all coming out. It's like, they're devotees, they finally come in the temple and all their bhakti just surfaces. That can happen. If someone's a new devotee, it doesn't mean this is their first life. You might be an old devotee, your first life as a devotee. He's a new devotee, it's his fifth life as a devotee. So he's actually more advanced. That happens. That does happen sometimes. People have emotional experiences in Krishna consciousness.
They don't know about Nama Parat, Seva Parat.
That's true.
They feel committed. Because I saw so many times, we have new people coming for Harinama, woofers. They think, pure, much more than me, because they don't know about Aparat.
Yeah.
It's Nama, they chant at least Nama Bas,
Yeah,
because they don't know.
that's true. So, then the point is, the more you know, the more chance you have to make mistakes. That doesn't make sense, does it? It's because you think you know. The more you know, the more you think you know, and then you think you're doing it right when you may not be. Because you think, well, I'm an old devotee, so everything I do is right. Isn't it? When you're a young person, you don't know what's right. So there's when we're all new devotees, we were very respectful to the older devotees. And then we saw their flaws and maybe we lost respect. Maybe we started thinking, I'm as good or better than they are. How many shlokas do you know? I know 343. How many do you know? Well, you've been a devotee longer than me. I know more shlokas. So now I start to see who's who here. I thought you were advanced. And I heard you give class and you said something that wasn't right. And I'm a younger devotee, but I could tell that was wrong. So who's advanced? So now you have a chance to become proud because you've been around a while. Yes? All right? Is that okay? Okay. We're going to stop. With your permission, we can stop. We're going to stop feeding the mosquitoes. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.